Hi, my name's Paul Nyman and I've been recruiting individuals for the last 25 years. I've managed this both internally and externally as a recruiter in large corporate businesses and now in my own recruitment organisation. And in this small short clip, I'm going to share with you how to prepare for interviews so that you can successfully perform at your best and secure the right opportunity for your career. I'm going to be covering off how to prepare in terms of the language, the people. We're going to talk about the job description and how that can relate to your own success, but also some of the real basics that I've seen over the years that you can undertake in advance to help you be successful at your next interview. So let's kick off. Let's talk about some really simple stuff. Before you get in for that interview, look at the covering letter, look at the CV you've submitted, and look at the type of questions that you may have answered. Large corporate businesses will ask you to submit, sometimes in advance, answers to questions, either written or in this style of format as a video style. Know what you've said, know what you've put down, and understand the job description that you're applying to. There's nothing more frustrating for interviewers when the individual is not sure why they are in the room. They're the real basics. So let's now get on to some of the key fundamentals. So ahead of the interview, what you always want to know is, what does the business do? Look out the person, check them out, and be sure about the job description that you've applied to, as I've said before. So breaking those pieces down, we can get on the website and we can look at the company, what they do, we can look at their competitors. We can look at some of the language that's used in the industry they work in. Some of the key issues that are going on in the sector, you might observe from trade bodies, from papers and publications that have come through. So check them out so that you're in tune with the style of language and the style of wording that's used in that interview process and within the culture of that type of environment. In terms of the person, really important that you know who you're talking to. LinkedIn's a fantastic tool for identifying individuals. You can check out where they've come from. You can see what they've done in their career. You can understand the progressive steps they've made in the organisations they've moved across. And that will give you a really good insight about the scale and pace at which these types of people operate. There may not just be one person in the interview, so check out associated links on LinkedIn. It might be the HR manager, it might be their line manager who's going to come into the interview process. See what they've done, see what publications they've presented to trade bodies and any other trade bodies that they've been a part of. And thirdly, as I mentioned earlier, the job description. Check out the job description, read it. Look at the language, look at the phrases used, look at the information that's shared with you and understand succinctly what are key within the core key skill sets that they're talking about, that they will be seeking. If you can't get the job description, and sometimes this happens when a role is moving really fast, get in touch with a recruiter, or even if it's a direct, reach out and get in touch with HR or the recruiting manager. They can give you some real ahead of the game insights to help you be really successful when you attend. So that's the top line. Now let's get on to some of the core fundamentals. We all know about the many people know about the concept of competency-based interviewing, and I will cover some of that off separately in the future. So do subscribe up so that you can receive those links later. You can download from Google hundreds of competency-based interviews, and I've managed many of those as an internal recruiter, so I'm happy to share that with you. But check it out on Google, see what they're about, and really what it's all about. It starts with the can you give me an example of how? The next part of it will be about tell me about you. The business will want to know about you. So be prepared to answer that question. Be prepared to answer the question, tell me about you, in no more than 90 seconds. You don't want to bore the people that you're talking to. Have an understanding of what your strengths are. Have an understanding of what your weaknesses are. Prepare these in advance. And remember, there will be a link coming later on that I'll share with you about managing strengths, weaknesses, and how to present yourself. But the most important part amongst everything is deal with the basics. Number one, know where you're going and who you're going to meet. In advance, do a dummy run if you are travelling to a site. In advance, prepare your IT. The number of individuals who are uncertain about how to use Teams data or how to manage a WebEx. Make sure your laptop is configured. Dress accordingly. Today, I'm wearing a shirt and a jacket. If you're preparing for an interview, don't just slip a shirt on just as you're about to go on a Teams call. Wear your tops and go booted and suited. If it's appropriate, you wear the tops and the bottoms, because when the IT goes wrong and you have to stand up and there's a pair of running shorts underneath, it doesn't create the best of impressions. So dress accordingly. Give time. Know how long that interview is going to take. Whether that be a Teams interview, give yourself a little bit more time in your schedule. If you're going there face to face, give yourself a bit of extra time in case there's traffic or they want to ask you some questions later on. And it takes a little bit more. So whilst they say it may only be 45 minutes, prepare for an hour and a half. And finally, when you're on a Teams and a face-to-face call, keep that contact. Keep the contact with the eyes and be sure that you know who you're talking to. So as a quick recap, understand the job description, understand the person that you're meeting, know about the business and its competitors. They're the key core things. Do the basics well. Know where you're going, know who you're going to meet, and most importantly, which I haven't mentioned yet, and I always leave till last, have questions to ask at the interview. I will cover all of these pieces off separately in the future. I hope this is helpful, and I look forward to catching up with you soon.